All right, so if you guys know by now how to get into Sync, but for those that don't know how to get into Sync, if you're just watching this video and you're a new agent, you log into your one login page and you're gonna look for your tile that says Sync, CINC, CRM website. So if you don't see it on the front end right there, right away, just go ahead and click on your apps, everything, and you'll find it over here. You want to click on this tile and it should bring you into the Sync login page. And once you log in, it's gonna bring you to the dashboard. As I mentioned earlier, we covered in previous videos on Tech Tuesdays about the CRM portion, the home portion, the profile portion, all of the back end pretty much. Now, today we're talking about the website and the front end and public facing. So if you see on your dashboard right here, you can actually see a tile that says My Website. Once you go ahead and click that, it's going to bring you to your website. One thing to note here is if you're going to be editing on this, you're going to know you're on the editable version, as they would say, and by looking at the top left, and you should see something that says hi and your name. For example, for me, it says hi, John Carlos. So I know that I am in a certain, like almost in an admin of my own page, so I can make edits if needed, which is right up here. If you weren't on that, then you're pretty much on the public-facing consumer side, and you won't be able to edit. So make sure you're good to go from there. So as you can see, mine is probably looks a lot more different than those of you that haven't really gone into this. This is because on previous Tech Tuesdays, I've gone ahead and shown you the process of how to edit it, which I will go ahead and do today as well. So really quick, what I want to do is actually do a rundown of everything we have available to us. And I'll go ahead and start with the name here. So you see when I click it, I can go ahead and see manage my featured listings, manage sold properties, website settings and layout, template settings, clear cache, and log out. And I'll get all those in, I'll get into those here in just a minute. Over in the top right, I want to bring your attention over here. You do have a bell. This is going to say check marks for publish and draft. So if you have anything that you've been working on, like for example, I do, you can have it, check it right there. 0 that need to be published because they already are. And then on settings, this is where I'm going to add a new page, a new blog. I can manage the banner or page attributes. Again, here on the top section of the website, you're going to have these tabs. These are editable. You can add some, you can remove some, you can hide them. You can add pages, little drop downs if you want. We'll get into that here as well. But you can see here that I have some custom ones, such as ROGS Facebook. So when I click on that, it'll actually take me as a direct link to our Facebook page. So you can do that with many things. If you have your own third-party websites, possibly landing pages or market reports, you can do that as well. A good thing that I've seen before is people use this spot for testimonials. If they link to their Zillow page or maybe even rate my agent page, you can have it right there on the top for consumers to see. So we have the one login, property search, mortgage calculator, unwritten blog, and blog. This is going to be pretty much the staple, the boilerplate, as some would say, that comes with everybody's. Again, you can't edit it. And then here, you can have a little drop down menu right there. But this is sign in, sign up. This is where your clients are going to be if they want to be a part of this. You can say, hey, sign into your account. Then you'll get an email notification and it'll show up in your CRM. And you can reach out to them and see what exactly they're interested in, whether it be buying and or selling. Okay, so now that we have the basic overview of this, we'll go ahead and get into the nitty gritty and start editing this. So if I go a little quick, just let me know and I'll slow down. We can ask questions during or after, I don't mind. Go ahead and throw it in chat and that'll be awesome. So starting from the very basic spot where we started earlier, we can go ahead and get into the actual website settings and layout. I feel like that's probably the first important step we should do. This is how you can pretty much change the look of your website. So here you see at the top, big button says change layout. This is the standard one that comes with it. This is layout 1. This is probably the one you're seeing right here with the same home. You can actually have 4 different options. I think it's 5 now. Layout 1, layout 2, layout 3, which is the one I'm using currently, layout 4, and yeah, 4 options right there. So you can see here that if you scroll down to the layouts, and I'll go back to number 1, there's are slight variations and differences between each layout. I feel like layout 3 for me was pretty well because I like it because my name's at the top there and it also has like a kind of little cool little info slot on the right hand side, big, bold, that lets them know that I'm with Realty One Group. I have my phone number and my email button right there. Also hyperlinks to my social media platform. So again, it's pretty nice. I like layout number 3. So you can select it, save it, configure it. If you were to configure it, that pretty much at this point, since this is a templated website builder, you're not going to have too many in-depth options like changing fonts or colors of things since it's ROGS specified. But you do have stuff like you can change the logo, which you want to do, like the Realty One Group Summit logo right there if you wanted to. But for the most part, it's just Summit. Side note, if you did want to get in more and-ticket changes, you could actually email Realty One at helpdesk.com. And I'm not sure if that's the right email address. I'll put it in the chat later, but the help desk email essentially, and they'll get in contact with CINC and they'll work with you guys if you wanted something to add into it. Like a lot of times, if you're familiar with HTML coding, you might want to put some type of HTML code in there. Then that would be through the help desk and CINC. We do not have the option to do that on our own. But that's pretty much the website template right there. Again, on the website settings, though, you do have the options to add your own Google Analytics tracking code and also a Facebook Pixel ID. If you're not familiar with what these do, these pretty much say give analytic reports of leads that are coming into your website or website traffic in general. It's going to give you pretty in-depth details such as demographics, age, time of day. You do have to set these up, whether it be with Google Analytics and or Facebook Pixels, which if you guys are interested in, we can do a definite future video on that. It is pretty in depth and it is on the techie side, so we definitely make sure to have some proper time for that. But it's pretty cool what it gives to you, and if you have like an analytic brain, then you'll like all the numbers. So that's where these go right here, if you want to paste those in there. And if you make any changes, always hit the save button right there and to make sure it publishes and changes. All right, so we've got the template settings. So let's go to manage my featured listings. Obviously, if I scroll down here, I see here I have featured listings right here. I'm not an agent here in California, so my featured listings will be looking a lot different than yours, especially if you have your own listings, you want to add them to yourself. For the most part, my default, I think I just have it as the standard ones, which is new listings in the MLS currently, they come on, so kind of like a hot sheet. But you do have the option to say my listings only. So if you click that, then you can just be your listings. And so only yours right there. Obviously, I don't have any, so it's just going to bring up that there. You can do listings with photos only, my listings and my office listings. Or you can import a saved search that you have in your saved searches on the CRM portion. And that would be something if you have like a niche farm, a community that you kind of just work out of, then that might be beneficial for you there. You also have the option just plug in an MLS number and have it come up on your featured listings as well. So say if you wanted a healthy mix, if you only have like one listing currently, then you can say, I just want my office listings. And then I'm going to add my one listing in with the MLS, and that way it's in the mix and you can have a nice variety right there. You do also have sorting, which is my listings first, new listings first, and then price high to low. So you do have the option to edit the featured listings on that. If I go back to the home page, you'll see that there is the same spot for manage my sold properties, which is going to be the same thing. And yet again, obviously I don't have any sold properties, but same thing as the previous portion. That's how you edit it the same way. But then you have the clear website cache and log out. What that means, if you're not familiar with that, essentially is the way Chrome browsers work or browsers work in general. If it notices you're logging into a website a lot, which you do for editing, then it's gonna pre-save all the information onto the computer. So that way when you come into it, it's gonna load a lot faster because it's not reloading all the elements because it's already saved. So that's essentially what a cache does. Now, the problem with that, even though it's a good feature, is if you make changes, it's not going to recognize those changes because it already has some information pre-saved. So if you make changes, for example, to the website layout or your buttons on your homepage, and then you refresh the page and you say, wait, where are my changes? Then it's probably an issue with the cache. So what this does, it just clears the cache and make you log out and log back in. That way you're starting from a fresh slate. So if there's any reason for anything not changing, it's probably within the cache. So that's the option right there, easy to find and easy to use. Now we're going to start back and rotate onto the right-hand side here. You're going to see we have the new pages, new blogs, manage banner, and page attributes. So again, with the front-facing option, I'm going to start with the manage banner. What they mean by manage banner is actually these photos in the back here that you're seeing. I have two pages or two photos that I have it rotating as a slide. And if I'll go ahead and let it play here, and it should rotate. I think it's like a 5 second, 7 second interval. So you see it right there. So in order to do that, you actually come to manage my banners. And right here, you can see it says remove or modify. Modify is just going to be like the title. If you want a video, you can place it on there. You can upload it, but it might be contingent to certain ML file size, and also a YouTube link right there as well. So you can have it autoplay, people come on. So if you have your own YouTube page, if you're good with video, you can have that playing in the background. You might take a little fidgeting and working with to get that stretched across the whole thing and look good, but you do have that option. And again, if you want to get more in depth with it, you can go ahead and reach out to help desk and CINC, and they'll be more than helpful to get that arranged for you. When I scroll down here, you'll see order number 1. That means this is the first picture I want in that slot. If it's a listing, you can have listings on there as well. Pretty in depth. Let me actually get out of this here. And oops, back here. So you can have, I believe, up to 5 or 7 photos. If you guys are looking for photos, what I suggest is a site called Pixabay. I think it's actually Pixabay. Pixabay. This is a site that I use, and a lot of agents use, especially using Canva, where they provide free photos for you. For the most part, they do have ads with like stock photos, which cost money, but for the most part, these are going to be free. And you'll see here, like if I type house, and see how this is the one that you see almost everywhere because it's free to use. Almost every place has this house, which is funny. But say, let's see, maybe we want something like, yeah, this looks cool. So say, hey, it has a free download. It's going to check your license. It says free for commercial use, no attribution required. So you can use that for your website, pretty easy. You can come here, this website, I love it a lot. Again, it's called Pixabay. You can type beach. Here's some photos of a beach. If you like that, California beach aspect. This is where I grab all the photos from my current website. So I suggest you jump in there if you need stock photos for anything, really. That's a little helpful tip for you guys. Again, you can have 5 to 7 photos up here, and it's going to rotate between every one, or you can have video, or whichever you like. If you really want to get in depth with it, you can take this photo, take it into Canva, throw some logos on there, maybe a picture of yourself, and have it rotate through, maybe testimonials. Your imagination is the limit. So now we have pretty much the front-facing side of things. We have to change the layout, how to change it, how it looks, how it flows, how the pictures look. Now we're going to get into some more in-depth techie stuff, which is going to be working with pages and how to add custom pages and edit them on the CINC website. So here you're going to see here's a new page, a new blog, and page attributes. Page attributes is going to be if you're on a page, so we'll wait for that one. But essentially, if you wanted to make, say, for example, let's see what I want to do here, a new page. What do we want? What do we want? Okay, I'll do one. So if you actually go to, let's see if I can go to the Realty One Group website, actually. I'll show you what I did for us. It's just ROGS.com. ROGS Summit, there it is. I'll show you just a quick feature of a possibility. So here we have, our company website, and we have some custom ones up here. So see, for example, I've joined the ROGS family. So they click on that, then, if agents are coming in, I have it set up from a third-party site coming in here as a widget with the iframe. And then also, for example, I have the self-check button right here with a widget that I use for, the coronavirus self-checker. If you wanted to come in here, and you can, it's hostess, the CDC site self-checker within your own website. So these are possibilities. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through the process of actually grabbing this one here as well. And just for an example, so I'll do the same thing on my website. So actually, I'm going to go there. Type CDC self-checker. Okay, so essentially what I'm trying to do is I want this self-checker on my website. So what I'm going to do here is come back to my page, and I'm going to say create a new page. Page name, this is going to be for you how you want it. Pretty much on this portion, you're going to be naming it all the self things. So let's go. Self checker. This is the heading. This is going to be what shows up on the page once it loads. This is the title. This is what's going to show up on the menu bar at the top here. So I'll say again self checker because this is what I want my consumers to see. Then here I'll say this is a CDC self checker. Again, if this was official, or if I, obviously you guys as an agent and people coming here, I'd probably elaborate a little more on that. But for the sake of example, we'll leave it at that. And we do have different page layouts. Since I am importing something, I was just going to stick with the standard one, which is a big blank space. I'm going to go ahead and create that. So now it's going to take me to the page that I just created. And it has these pre-templated formatting stuff, which I'll just get rid of just like that. And here is essentially, oops, here we go. It is just an HTML editor. So if you're familiar with HTML editing, then you'll be familiar with this. Again, if I wanted to make my own page, say for example, this could be like my testimonials. Just start typing out stuff from there. I can bring in things. I can make a blog with it. There's a vast array of things you can do. Again, what I want to do is show you guys how to import something with an embedded code as a widget, and it stays on your homepage here, because that is a very powerful tool that you can use for almost anything, especially for third-party sites, which I know a lot of agents have. So essentially what you want to do here is you're going to see that there is a button. Where is it here? What is this? No, it's not the source. There's a button here. I gotta find it. There's a lot of buttons, as you can see. Just gotta hover over it. That allows you to place the embedded code. Oh shit, I don't remember where it is. Let me just start here. We'll grab this embedded code right now. So essentially I'm gonna grab this code here. Actually, I think it was at the top. Come back to my page, and I think it actually is source. So I'm going to go ahead and paste it right in there if I remember correctly. We'll go ahead and troubleshoot this live, see what happens. And then I'm gonna go ahead and check all these buttons. I think that's it. Go ahead and come to the top right here. I'm going to hit save. Boom, there it is. So it was the source spot, so I was right the first time. So essentially what I did, and I'll run that back again very quickly, is I'm going to come back here. I'm going to go back to edit this. So you're not going to see it right here because source code is invisible until it's published, because it's on the back end. But I'm going to the editing. You see the source code. This is the embed. The embed code, again, I want to highlight that, the embedded code that I got from the CDC checker. So if you have a third-party site and you see embedded code, then you have the option to do this yourself. Grab it, come into source, copy and paste it right in there, click OK. Even though it may seem invisible, you just want to go ahead and hit save. You'll see it right there, self-checker. Now, when you made an edited or a page, you also not only have to save, you also have to publish it. That makes it live on your website. So we'll go ahead and click publish. There it is. So for the sake of argument, for the sake of example, this is relatively pretty quick. But if you can imagine, you can do this with a vast array of things. Like I mentioned earlier, testimonials. You can make a testimonial page, a blog page, a community page, a what's going on in your neighborhood page, things that you can just pull from other agents' ideas. You can pull it into your website and use it for your advantage and your leverage. So now that we've created the page, now I want it up on the toolbar. How am I going to do that? Well, I come back to the home page here. And you're going to see that there's nothing here, right? Okay, so I'm actually just going to hit, let's go here, 3 dots, and I'm going to do page attributes. Come over here, and I'm going to say this is the title of the button. I'm going to do self-checker. Description, this is a CDC self-checker. I don't need social media image. Let's go to, nope, that's not it. Okay. Let me see here. I think this is right here. Let's see. Okay, page. Here, it's gonna be a page self-checker. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, yeah. So this is gonna be the name of it, the self-checker. You're gonna do page because we created a page. Once you have that option, it's gonna say, okay, what pages do you have? Right now, I currently only have the self-checker, so this is the only one that's being brought up. But if I had something like testimonials, then we'll give you that option as well. But I want to go to self-checker. I want it to appear first in the toolbar here. And then I also want it to be native, so it's going to stay on the website. You can also have a pop-up or a new window. But again, if you want clients to feel like they're not being taken away from like an advertisement or something, you probably just want to leave it native. Go ahead and hit add, and then the page will refresh, and you'll see here, have it here in the drop-down. Self-checker, come over here, and there it is. But the problem is, and you just saw this, I actually want this as a toolbar option, not as a drop-down. So let's see what's going on with that. Should be right here. There's 3 dots. Let's see here. Oh, maybe this was what it was. Let me check. Got ahead of myself here. Oh, okay. I'm wondering if maybe I don't have that option here for admin. Let's see if I just play around with this just a bit. Okay, that looks good there. Okay, this is it. Okay, there it was. So it's actually the 3-bar menu right here. This is going to give you oh, I see what it is. Okay, so essentially, since I have so much already on here, it consolidated into the 3 bars, which you'll see now that I pushed my unwritten block into this as well, because there's so much, it doesn't have enough room up there, which is interesting because there's all this blank space. So that's for you. That would be where I talk to CINC and be like, hey, can you stretch this out? So it fits nicely on there. But for the sake of, let me run down and delete this real quick and restart it. So let's go back to square one. I created the page. Now I want it as a toolbar up here next to my other toolbars. So I'll go ahead and click on these 3 dots, hit new. I'm gonna do my label will be self-checker, obviously. And then I have it as a page, self-checker. And I want it, I can put it in between anything I want, but I want it first on my list. I'm gonna keep it native. That sounds good. Again, native stays on the website. Pop-up is a pop-up, and then a window is a new window, like a completely new window. So keep it native. Save or add. Page will refresh, and now you'll see here that we have the self-checker option. When I click it, then it takes me to my self-checker page, which hosts the widget for the CDC self-checker, and then I can just run through here and be like, hey, okay, I'm looking good. You know, I live in California, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. You know, it's pretty cool that you can do that, right? If you don't know how to do that, now you do. Again, if you want it just as a drop-down menu, I kind of showed you earlier, it's relatively the same thing, but I'm gonna delete this one actually. I want that there. You just come over here on the individual button itself, and you can click new. And again, if I wanted, let's delete that actually. For example, let's say, for example, I had something like I want a spot that's going to say, you know, my communities. You know, where do I farm? Where do I do most of my work? And I'm saying, okay, I want a page like that. I'm going to add that there. Then I can go ahead and hit new underneath my communities, and I can say Camarillo. And this would be like I already have pages already made up for it, and I'm importing it in here. But for, you know, again, example, let's do market area. Yeah, boom, let's do that. Okay, let's use Summerland. Okay, looks good. Again, let's go ahead and add. So I have my communities, right? I have Summerland. I could add Camarillo, you know, my areas. So when I click on that, it's all in that drop-down menu, and then I have market reports. You know, what's going on in Summerland? What's going on here? I think though that currently there's some issues going on with the market summaries on the back end of CINC. We do have an agent who's having issues with it, so you might want to hold off on that. But again, this is just an example, an idea of what you can do, and you can come in here and do maybe not my communities, but you know what you do for your community. You know, you do volunteer service. Here's my testimonials page. Here's my Facebook page. Blah blah blah. You know, you have your imagination right there. But that is how you do that. So here on today's class, we talked about the web portion, the web builder, which we talked about the layout settings, how to change layout, how to change the banners. We talked about the page attributes, how to create a new page, how to create a new blog. We didn't talk about that, but it's actually pretty much relatively the same thing. Let's do Tech Tuesday. Say I'm doing a new blog for agents, right? Publish on today's date. Boom. Posted by me. Categories Tech Tuesday, Tech Tips. So you can see what I've done this in the past year to create. Oops. My blog already exists. Oh, because I did it earlier. So you see right here, I made it a blog from previous Tech Tuesdays. This is the formatting of how it looks like. And it looks pretty clean. So this is Tech Tuesday recap, creating blogs with CINC. May 13th, 2020. Wow, look at that. Okay, so again, how to do this. Originally, it all comes back to at first creating a new page or a new blog in this aspect. You'd create the title just as you do with new page, Tech Tuesday. And then it would go, you'd import it and create it. Let's see here. Just make a brand new one. Again, so now it's going to do what we did earlier about the pre-templated stuff. So we'll just go ahead and hit edit over here. Let's delete all this. And today I added a CDC checker to my website. See video to this. I see some questions coming up in the chat there. I'll get to it in just a moment. Then I'll hit save blog. And now I should have it here on my blog page. Boom, there we go. And obviously I can't spell because I spelled too. But yeah, so again, you saw my previous blogs that I had pictures on there. For example, this one, all I did was within the HTML editor, as I mentioned earlier, just insert an image and it'll show up like that. Leave the option to format it as well. Let me check my chat here as I got this open. Okay, Alicia, thank you. Yes, Kelly, is Shield Senior, are ROGS automatically on our, yes, they are automatically on our individual websites. It goes by office. Kelly, if you're still here on that question. But anyways, guys, that is pretty much the round out for today's video. We went in through website layouts, website photos, managing photos, adding pages, creating pages, and importing them into the site there. So a lot of information. This is going to be recorded for future use, and you can come back in and take a look at it on your own. Thank you much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next week on